When people around the world think of the Netherlands, they often picture a country filled with tulip fields, beautiful canals, windmills, and happy, prosperous people riding bicycles to work. On international rankings, the Netherlands often appears among the richest and happiest nations on Earth. It's not unusual to hear visitors say, "Wow, everyone here seems rich." But is that really true? Does living in the Netherlands automatically mean you're financially well off? Or is the reality far more complicated than the picture-perfect postcard image? In this video, we're going to dig deep into the history, the numbers, the culture, and the everyday lives of Dutch people to understand whether this stereotype is accurate. We'll also look at the differences between perception and reality, and what rich actually means in the Dutch context. Stick around until the end, because the truth might surprise you. Why do so many outsiders believe that everyone in the Netherlands is financially comfortable? Part of the reason is that the Netherlands does have a high standard of living. The streets are generally clean, public transport works well, healthcare is high quality, and poverty is far less visible than in many other countries. Tourists see well-kept houses, busy shopping streets, and cafes full of customers, and they assume that's the norm for everyone. Statistics also support this image to some extent. In 2024, the Netherlands had a GDP per capita of about $58,000, placing it among the top 20 richest countries in the world. Unemployment is relatively low, and the country consistently ranks high on global happiness and well-being indexes. Another factor is the Dutch approach to welfare and public services. Universal healthcare, strong education, and social safety nets mean that even people with lower incomes often have access to a good quality of life. From the outside, that can give the impression that everyone is doing well financially. But as we'll see, averages can be misleading. The idea of Dutch prosperity isn't new. It goes back centuries. During the 17th century, known as the Dutch Golden Age, the Netherlands became one of the richest and most powerful countries in the world. Trade, shipping, and finance flourished, with Amsterdam emerging as a major global center of commerce. The Dutch East India Company, the VOC, was the world's first multinational corporation and, in today's money, possibly the most valuable company ever to exist. Wealth from overseas trade funded beautiful architecture, art by painters like Rembrandt and Vermeer, and a booming economy. However, even during this golden age, wealth wasn't equally shared. A small elite benefited enormously, while many ordinary workers lived modestly, sometimes in poverty. Fast forward to the 20th and 21st centuries, after World War II, the Netherlands rebuilt its economy rapidly, developing a strong industrial base and later transforming into a service-oriented economy. Membership in the European Union, a strategic location for trade, and a focus on innovation all contributed to prosperity. But again, while the country as a whole grew wealthier, wealth inequality persisted. Now, let's look at the numbers. Earning €3,000 a month in the Netherlands sounds great, until you start looking at expenses. Housing is one of the biggest challenges. The Netherlands faces a severe housing shortage, especially in big cities like Amsterdam, Utrecht, and Rotterdam. Buying a home has become extremely expensive, and rents can take up half of someone's income. For example, the average monthly rent for a small apartment in Amsterdam is around €1,500. Utilities, groceries, and transport add another €800 to €1,000. That leaves little room for savings, especially for single-income households. Inflation in recent years has also pushed up the cost of groceries and energy. The result? Even middle-income families sometimes feel financially squeezed. Taxes are another factor. The Netherlands has relatively high taxes compared to some countries, especially on income. Top income tax rates are over 49%. However, these taxes fund public services, healthcare, education, infrastructure that reduce costs in other areas of life. Basic health insurance is mandatory but heavily regulated to keep it affordable, and there are subsidies for lower-income households. University tuition is relatively low compared to countries like the US or UK. In many ways, the system redistributes wealth to create a more equal society. But this doesn't erase the fact that some people still struggle to make ends meet. In the Netherlands, rich often means something different from how it's defined elsewhere. In some countries, being rich means flashy cars, designer clothes, and big houses. In the Netherlands, wealth is often measured in security and comfort. A rich life here might mean owning your own home, taking a nice holiday once or twice a year, being able to work part-time without financial stress, and having enough savings to handle emergencies. Dutch culture values modesty, the concept of doe normal, meaning just act normal. Even wealthy people often live in modest houses and ride bikes instead of luxury cars. This cultural norm can hide inequality from outsiders. You might see two neighbors with similar lifestyles, one might have millions in investments, the other might be struggling, and you'd never know. For many immigrants and expats, the Netherlands feels wealthier than their home countries. They notice the good infrastructure, clean streets, and social services. But once they start paying rent, taxes, and bills, they realize that financial comfort here doesn't come automatically. Expats working in high-paying tech or corporate jobs can live very comfortably, but migrants in low-wage work, like cleaning, hospitality, or delivery, often face tight budgets. Compared to the US, the Netherlands has lower income inequality and less visible poverty. Compared to countries like Norway or Switzerland, Dutch salaries are lower, but the cost of living is also slightly less extreme. In terms of quality of life, the Netherlands scores high, but that's because of the balance between wages, public services, and cultural values, not because everyone is rich. Still, there are challenges. Rising housing costs are locking young people out of the property market. Inflation is reducing purchasing power. Part-time work, while great for work-life balance, can limit income growth. These challenges mean that some people feel financially insecure, despite living in one of the richest countries in the world. So, is everyone in the Netherlands really rich? No. Many people are financially comfortable, and poverty rates are relatively low compared to global averages. But wealth is unevenly distributed, and high living costs can make life expensive even for those with decent salaries. The Netherlands offers opportunity, stability, and a good quality of life for many, but rich is not a universal reality. The image of a uniformly wealthy Netherlands is a mix of truth and myth. The country is prosperous, yes, but like anywhere else, there are winners and losers in the economy. What sets the Netherlands apart is its social system and cultural values, which mean that even those without high incomes often enjoy a decent quality of life. What do you think? Does being rich depend more on income, lifestyle, or security? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more content about Dutch life, and hit the bell so you never miss a new episode.